Hey, I'm PH, and welcome to another episode of Good Bible Knowledge with PhD. In this set of videos, I want to provide a helpful and enjoyable way to understand common questions about the Bible. I hope you'll find these videos helpful for your own spiritual journey in Jesus. Let's get started. Who are the judges, and why are they important? Joshua, Judges, and Ruth all cover a specific part of biblical history, namely the first two generations of Israelites living in the Promised Land after the Exodus. The book of Joshua is a triumphant book that clearly illustrates the faithfulness of God, His goodness, and grace. At the end of the book of Joshua, we see that the people of Israel have taken possession of the Promised Land. Joshua led a successful campaign, and now the people are at rest. God has fulfilled all His promises since the time of Abraham. And at the end of Joshua's life, we see the great affirmation, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." This is a hopeful ending as the Israelites start a new beginning. This brings us to the book of Judges. The book of Judges stands in stark contrast to the book of Joshua. In Joshua, Israel was an obedient, faithful people who carried out everything the Lord commanded. In Judges, they are a disobedient, idolatrous people whose depth of sin knows no bounds. The book is summed up in Judges chapter 2, verses 8 through 12. "And there arose another generation after them who did not know the Lord or the work He had done for Israel. And the people did what was evil in His sight, and they abandoned the Lord and went after other gods." So what exactly is a judge? The time of Joshua is known as the pre-monarchical period of Israel's history. At this time, Israel had no human king, but instead of following God as their king, they simply lived according to what they thought was right in their own eyes. So basically, they did whatever they wanted. This led to a time of lawlessness and chaos. And during this time, God raised up judges, temporary rulers who were appointed by God to save the people primarily from foreign threats. Even though the people deserved to suffer for their poor choices, God, in His grace, periodically raised these judges to relieve them of the consequences of their disobedience. The book of Judges has 7 cycles, each one getting progressively worse and worse as far as the effect of sin on the society. In each cycle, you have a description of the state of Israel's sin. Their sin brings about God's discipline through the oppression by other nations. Then God is faithful to deliver them through a judge. And Israel is always given a chance to start anew. But each time when the judges die, Israel immediately returns to its sinful ways. The first judge was named Othniel, who God raised up to defeat the king of Mesopotamia, and Othniel brought 40 years of peace to the land. The second judge was named Ehud. Ehud was a left-handed judge, and he surprised King Eglon of Moab and killed him with a sword behind closed doors. Ehud then escaped, running past all the false idols of Moab. The third judge was a man named Shamgar, who defeated 600 Philistines with a cattle prod. The fourth judge was a woman named Deborah. Deborah was a prophet who lived in the hill country of Ephraim. When Sisera, the king of the Canaanites, threatened the Israelites, Deborah commanded Barak to take the army of Israel and confront Sisera. But Barak said he would only go if Deborah accompanied him. After Deborah and Barak defeated Sisera, they sang a song of praise to the Lord. The word judge literally means deliverer, and it gives the idea of a person who would maintain justice, deliver the people from oppression, and rule in righteousness. These human judges, though quite flawed and temporary in nature, served as pictures of God's ultimate deliverer, Jesus, who will come to bring justice and deliverance from oppression once and for all. Jesus is the true King from God, who will return to rule in righteousness and peace over all who put their trust in Him as Savior. Thanks for listening to another episode of Good Bible Knowledge. We'll see you next time.